Hi everyone, we're on section 16.2, finding the unknown in the simple interest formula. We are going to calculate using the formula, but we'll have missing parts, and so this is practice so that you'll be able to get those questions correct. And I want to show you how you put this in on your calculator. So on the first one, the 45 divided by 0.04 times 219 divided by 365, you have to put that on your calculator in a certain way or you will get the wrong answer. Here's how you put that on. So you take the 45, type that in, divided by, and we have to use the parenthesis key. Now it's kind of weird on your calculator. When you push the parenthesis key, it doesn't look like it's doing anything. And so you just have to kind of get used to that. And then we put the 0.04 times 219 divided by 365. Now, when you close your parentheses, you'll see a number on your screen. That's actually the calculation for the parentheses. If you forget to push your equal key, then it'll stay there and you will have this calculation of the 0.04 times, I don't remember what that was because I don't have it on my screen right now. I'm going to do that, 0.04 times 219 divided by 365, close, 0.024. That's what you would see on your screen, but then when you push equals, you get the answer, which is 1,875. You want to be real careful with that. This is practice using the parentheses, so you just can calculate these all in one nice calculation where you don't have to try to save anything or write it down. You can just do the calculation this way. On the next one, we're going to take 16,530 divided by, so the bar is always division, right? If you go from the top to what's underneath the bar, that's divided by. And this goes in our parentheses just like it's written out in the problem. Oh, I don't need to really put that. 0.095. I'm going to go ahead and write that as a decimal. And don't forget to push your equals key. Now on this one, once again, you calculate all this and you might be surprised to see that it equals 4. It's a pretty simple answer for all that messy stuff. Okay, good practice. And now let's put that into practice as we work through these examples. This first question, we're going to work it 3 different ways. So we're going to find all the missing parts, well, I guess except the interest, and show you how to use the formula and our circle. The circle helps you know what to divide and what to multiply, and I think that is very valuable. So I'm hoping that you will practice with the circle. Tim Jarvis paid the bank $21.37 at 8.5% for 120 days. How much did Tim borrow using the ordinary interest method? Let's put everything on our chart. So the interest amount is $21.37. We are looking for the principal. I'm going to put a question mark there. The interest rate is 8.5%. And the time's 120 days out of 360 days. Now, it doesn't really matter if you realize, oh, I could simplify this fraction. It's not even necessary. You can just plug it all in just like it is. And we are going to find the principal for this problem. Here's how we set it up. So 21.37 divided by, because of this bar, right? We're going to divide by whatever's in the bottom part of our circle. Put your parentheses, change your rate to decimal form, and then 120 divided by 360. Don't forget to push your equal key. So this is how you key it in. I'm taking that from my circle to the calculation. you will see that your principal then is $754.24. And we have found principal now. Next, Tim Jarvis borrowed $754.24. We just calculated that was the amount of principal. The interest is $21.37 for 120 days. What rate of interest did Tim pay using the ordinary interest method? On this one, right, we have the rate missing. What rate of interest? Now we know what rate it should be because we worked that previous question, but it's nice to just show you this as we work through. So interest was $21.37, principal $754.24, time is 120 over 360. And there's our missing part, the rate. We're going to find the rate by taking 2137, divide it by, use your parentheses here. So once you get to the division of what's underneath and there's more than one thing to calculate, you must use your parentheses in order to get your calculator to give you the answer that is correct. So you have to be the one that tells your calculator what to do. We have another division there for the 120 over 360. That's 120 divided by 360. And don't forget your equals key. When you calculate this, you'll have a bunch of decimals on your screen. It goes further out than this, but I'm going to stop there because we're just going to round this to the nearest 10th percent. And that would be 8.5%. And we actually know that because we used 8.5, and it's nice to see how this works out. We're using different parts of the problem to get that answer. Here's our next example. Time is the one that I feel like might be the trickiest one because you have to do an extra calculation to know to get your actual time, and the number that you get looks a little weird when you first see it. So we're looking for the time this time. We're given the principal amount. We're given the rate. We're looking for the time. Now, notice that I have it written down here. Time is always over 1 year. So if your time is given to you in days, you'll put it over 360 or 365. If it's given to you in weeks, you'll put it over 52, months over 12, quarters over 4. We don't do too much of that. But in this case, we're looking for the number of days because that's what we've been working with this same problem. I didn't read it because it's basically the same thing with a different missing part. Let's calculate. I'm finding the time. So I take my interest amount. I divide it by what's underneath the bar on my circle. 754.24. times 0.085. Remember, between these down here, it's multiplication. I've got that written here. Principal times rate times time, right? The interest is equal to that. And then, of course, we don't want to forget to push our equal sign. When you get this answer, you might look at it thinking, what is this? Right? It's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 2, 5, 4 on your screen. It goes all the way across. This is the portion of the year. So this is about a third of the year, which makes sense because remember it's 120 days out of 360 days. That is the fraction 1/3. Just due to rounding and stuff, it's a little bit different here when you look at it. We are going to multiply that by 360 to get the number of days. And our time would then be 120 days when we round it to a whole number. And so you can see that same problem finding a different part each time. I hope that was beneficial to you. Here's our next example. Lane French had a bad credit rating and went to a local cash credit. He took out a $200 loan payable in 2 weeks at $220. What is the percent of interest paid on this loan? Do not round the denominator before dividing. That's why you use your calculator and your parenthesis keys. There's no need to even calculate that separately because we can do it all at one time. Now, it didn't actually say this is how much interest he's paying. You just see it in the maturity value of the loan is $220. So we take $220 and subtract $200. So the amount of interest is going to be $20. So for 2 weeks worth of borrowing this money, he will owe $20 in interest. The principal amount is $200. It's 2 weeks out of 52. So that's how we will set that up. And we're looking for the rate. And it's a high rate. You will see that when you calculate it. Let's calculate the rate. We're going to take $20 divided by, we're going to use our parentheses to make this a nice easy calculation. We have another division there because it's 2 over 52. And then of course we're going to push our equal key. So on your screen you're going to see this, 2.6. This is the decimal form of this number. But we want the percent form. So remember, you're going to move the decimal 2 places to the right. And it is 260%, which is kind of common for those kind of loans. They have a really high interest rate. And that would be a normal kind of thing that happens. So I think I have time to do the rest of these on the next lesson. I'm going to go ahead and stop here before I go on to the next problem. So next video we'll have start up with question number 5.